plus engineering equals product. So designers are essential. You can't just talk in algorithms all day and expect people to understand everything, which is why you have amazing, talented designers as a part of tech. So here I am co-moderating with my good friend, Patrici Flores. Me, Patrici, and previously, Catherine were all a part of Magenta magazine. So she's going to be talking about design generally, and then we will talk with Christine about her work in a little bit with the photography sort of focus and end. Angela will be talking about 3D art, and then Monica, who's one of my favorite people right now, had the first wedding in virtual reality. Was married in virtual reality. If you look back there, we brought headsets donated generously by SVVR, Silicon Valley Virtual Reality. Aaron Evangelion, who's a part of SVVR, is back there, is also a student as well. So those are from the 90s. One of them is like, I think, the only one in the world, as well as the VR dress that she wore in VR. She remembers her whole memory and experience of wedding in VR. So definitely talk with her more if you have questions about design, art, animation, marketing, how this all kind of fits into, everything cohesively with engineering that comes up with a great user experience and product for folks. And with that, I'm going to kick it off to Patrici.
Thanks, Erin. Cool. So I have some slides. How many of you guys know what design is in the context of technology? Is it more, maybe a show of hands, is it more visual? Is it a visual thing? Shout it out. What do you guys think? Shout it out.
Yeah, visual.
Visual?
Yep. Usability.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so I'm Patrici. I was going to talk about interaction design, but I'm going to talk about product design just in general. So right now I'm a product designer for early stage startups. I contract for a lot of different ones in the city. I actually just accepted an offer for an in-house position, so I'm going to make the commitment rather than be a freelancer forever. And yeah, it'll be a different type of challenge, and I'll talk about that a little later. But actually, can I have the remote?
Sorry, I migrated.
All right. So yeah, whoever said usability is right. That's how I see design now. Before I worked for startups, I actually saw design very differently because I was more of an artist. So I can tell you about that transition. It was very a long transition. I used to be in film. So right before I started working for startups, I worked for this show called The Future Starts Here. The studio was a 4-person studio here in the Bay Area. We had a show mostly about technology and the effect on the future of humanity, basically. So it was a very big idea show. It was very inspiring, very optimistic. But we were making this in San Francisco, and so I was exposed to a lot of different entrepreneurs and startups from the get-go. And it was very interesting to me to be a part of that as a creative person. And just knowing what was going on around me made me want to be a part of it. So I went to, one of my jobs was to accompany my director, she's a film director, to different conferences. She was a speaker, TED speaker. She spoke at this Women of Vision conference for the Anita Borg Institute. I don't know if you guys know what that is. So she was a keynote speaker there, and I met somebody who kind of helped me get my start in startups as a product designer. She was a UX designer. Shows the importance of networking. She really helped me get started and transitioning. Before I was in film, I did interior and landscape design also as a marketing person. This is me picking out patterns for sofas. And so I have a very varied background. It's hard to not get scattered when talking about it. But here's how I feel it all fits into design. So psychology, I majored in psychology while I was here at Cal. I was part of the Daily Cal, and I also was part of Maganda, as Erin was saying. And all of that experience helped me understand human emotion. It also helped me just like get a sense of how to interact with people and how people's brains work. I was interviewing people who were protesting during, I don't know if anybody here remembers, but I think back in 2007 there was like a tree sitter. So
I was there. I didn't climb the tree though.
Yeah, there was like a lot of those kinds of things. And just like understanding different perspectives. That's, I think, the biggest value that experience gave me here at Cal. From landscape architecture and interior design, I started understanding UX for space, even though I didn't know it was UX at the time, because space has to be comfortable. The chairs you're sitting in have a specific purpose. And film, I learned a lot about storytelling and collaborating on large-scale productions, how to manage different types of personalities, and yeah, sorry for the cheesy animation, but I think that all ties in to design really well. So here are some projects that I worked on. This is a college savings startup that I helped optimize their onboarding flow. And going back to what I was saying about how I don't see design as just visual sheen anymore, here I interviewed a lot of users. I interviewed new parents who were thinking of saving for their kids and really understood their problems. Like the engineering panel was saying, creating products is about problem solving. So understanding the user is at the center of product design. And so creating a product for them that is both visually appealing and also works for them is really a huge part of what I do. Here's a travel startup that I worked for. It was optimizing the booking experience for people who were participating in group travel. And a mortgage startup that I worked with, making the experience better for people who are buying homes, because the original design was actually really hard to use. And right after, we were able to really empathize with what the users were going through. And one of the elements I can point out right now is the photo of the house that they had in mind to buy. That was a really emotional component that was hard to get buy-in for because it seemed unnecessary, but when you really design for a user that you understand that maybe it's not such a little detail, maybe it's something that will delight them and help them to come back, and it turned out to be a successful addition. This is informational architecture that we made a little bit more simple. And that's just a little idea of the process that I go through as a designer. It's all about iterating and testing a lot and talking to users throughout the whole time.
Does that come from IDEO? No. Ideas
Well, I think Google and IDEO have a lot of
similar
similar
design
processes.
philosophies.
And yeah, you can totally adapt them to what works for you as a designer. So, yeah.
Thank you, Patrici.